Hey friends, Beth here, back again, prepping for Amazon Prime Week. Do you have some plans to get some crochet tools this week? I did some videos a while back on some of my favorite things for crochet tools and for market tools and market supplies. I just wanted to do a little refresher on some of those. Some things I forgot to mention there, some things I didn't show in those videos. I had forgotten to pull down off of shelves or whatnot. So here are some updated things, as well as a little bit more expansive of tools that I use both personally and then for shows. Then we are planning on heading out for some more yarn tour stops tomorrow. I checked the different Facebook pages that I'm planning to, for the store that I'm planning to hit tomorrow, and nobody posted anything today. Hopefully that means that they didn't have any damage from the tropical storm that went through last night. A lot of the north and west parts of the Raleigh and Triad area had a lot of flooding. I was planning on doing some of the eastern side of things, so hopefully they are good. Nobody posted anything, so hopefully nothing's changed for tomorrow. So we will bring that to you a little later in the week and tell you where we went and how that went. So as for the Amazon Prime things and the things that I'm featuring here, these are all affiliate links. I promise you, I get like paid cents. I actually haven't even been paid by Amazon. I have like 18 cents that keeps rolling over each month because I get paid like a tenth of a penny or a penny on each purchase. So until I get to $10, I haven't even been paid by Amazon. So I'm really not making anything off of this at this point. So I do appreciate any purchases that you make. If you put it to your cart and purchase it, I think it's within 48 hours of clicking on my link, it does credit me for that couple of cents. So definitely appreciate that. If you don't purchase it within that 48 hours, you can come back to my links and re-click that link, and it will then give me back that credit as well. So thank you so much. So to start things off with some of the crochet things, I have talked probably ad nausea about how I got started. Initially, I purchased a very cheap crochet kit off of Amazon. I will not link that because it was terrible. The instructions were in like Chinese, Japanese. The video was not in a language I could understand, and it was terrible. I had to go back and forth with the seller multiple times to get instructions in a language in English so that I could figure out what I was supposed to be doing. So very bad first introduction. Obviously that was not Crochet's fault. That was truly the fault of what I purchased from. So I then made the investment and purchased Woobles. I then also went off the deep end for quite a bit and purchased lots and lots of Woobles, many of which are still in their bag, completely sealed. So I have done lots and lots of Woobles. They really got me confident in what I was doing, and I truly appreciate what they gave me. So some kits are called beginner, some kits say beginner plus, some are intermediate. So be watchful for what it says. If it says beginners, beginner plus, I will link a couple of different kits, and they do include everything to get you started. It has stuffing, it has crochet hooks. You can get kits with or without the hook, but to get started, if you have nothing, this does include everything but scissors. So truly it is an all-in-one to get you started. So Woobles are the way to go. They are also from North Carolina. They are really about an hour from me. I would love to meet them, go see them, help package, whatever. It'd be a whole lot of fun. I did just shower. My hair's kind of crazy as it dries and does its curly chaos. So pardon the hair. And then as far as crochet hooks, I then first purchased. It was just kind of a all-in-one kit. We got cats and I think a purple one for my daughter. It has a bunch of super cheap metal hooks in it and a bunch of various tools. Some are knitting, some are just miscellaneous. Some sewing things in here as well. It was nice to have a variety. As I got started, I quickly moved away from these hooks though and found that I preferred a little bit different grip, and I moved towards the clover hooks. So that is an all-in-one kit. It has just a whole bunch of stuff in it, and I will link this kit as well. Everything will be linked down in the description. But it's a great starting point or even a gift for somebody who's just wanting to get their feet wet. And then they can start to make decisions without a big upfront investment. So then I went and got my first clover from Joann's. And so I then invested in the 4mm clover at Joann's. So this is then where I started branching off, kind of making some of my own decisions then. And so then I needed a case. Well, I started using just clear zipper pouches. And these things are great for storing accessories and all sorts of different things. I store, if I make extra body parts for turtles or various projects, I put them into these zipper pouches. I have a whole bunch of yarns in here. I had odds and ends as I was making axolotls at an event the other weekend. So it just has a whole bunch of yarns in this one. I have another yarn collection in another one over there. Oh, and here's my itty bitty stuff, so I don't lose my things. So I will link these little zipper pouches as well. But it got to the point where I had more hooks than really what would fit into a zipper pouch. So I then asked around trying to figure out what would fit hooks. I crocheted my own, but it ended up being super duper heavy and just really not convenient. The hooks actually poked through the crocheted carrier, which kind of defeated the purpose because it then truly did not protect it. But I needed something extra tall because while these guys push down, these do not. So like this is super tall. I needed something tall that would hold my epoxy hooks. So I now have a furls hook, and I have a number of O-Fire hooks and a couple of other brands here as well. So I now have 4 brands of hooks that I use regularly. I enjoy switching out the hooks because it changes how I hold the hooks and it gives my hand a break. It offers a different grip, a different tension, and gives my wrist a little bit of a different hold to it. So this is actually a makeup case, makeup brush case, and this has worked out phenomenal. There's a second pocket in the back where I then have extra needles, tape measure, things like that. It's deep, and you can make your own kind of storage pockets. So they're just little Velcro things that attach to different places. So you can create that. And, you know, I've got black thread in there so I can embroider stuff for all of that. So that has been really beneficial for all of that. Then of course, you know, there's your groups of stitch markers. I do just still use typically these basic stitch markers. Some are better than others. Some are easier to clasp than others. I just find that these are easy, and some of the ones with the charms, I find that they catch onto things. I get myself into enough tangled messes. I don't need any help with that. They're super cute. They are super pretty, but truly I make enough messes for myself. I don't need much help with that. So those are just those, and you can get them in huge boxes. I think the one that I have linked, it's like 150 pieces. Do I even have it? I don't have it out next to me. It's just 150 pieces in a cute little rainbow case. So you get like 10 and whatever, 15 colors. So that works out great for me. My travel scissors are out with my yarn winder. Let me grab those. All right, so these are little Fiskars TAA travel scissors. They just fold on down and collapse among themselves. And there they go. So these are, I bought these for a plain ride, and have pretty much used them as my primary scissors since. They fit really nicely into my little zipper bag here. And then in here as well, I have a plastic needle and a metal needle as well, blunt stainless steel. And then I have lost my rubber band. I have a curved tip as well. So we've got a straight tip and a curved tip. The curved tip can be nice for sewing on a head or an appendage where you have to get into a little bit different spaces. But for the most part, I use the straight. The plastic one is good for the larger threads because you can see the different size of the eyelets there. As far as what thread fits in there. So definitely good to have a variety of the needles. So then also I've got my poppet. Somebody asked me as I was out at an event, she's like, do you really use that to count your stitches? I'm like, or count your rows? I'm like, yep, absolutely. So, especially when I'm at an event, because people are stopping and talking to me, I'm getting distracted, I'm watching things go by. This keeps me on track for where I am and where I'm headed. So I pop this down and I can say what row I am on. So that stays in my crochet bag as well. So always good for that. Oh, I do have here's my hooks or my stitch markers. So there's those guys. So certainly variety of noses, eyes, all of that in a variety of sizes, all of that's linked. We talked about my case. Something else that I have found handy is an anti-friction, anti-chafe balm. Sometimes as you're doing the repeated stitches, the end of my hand where the hook rubs against will sometimes get a little raw. And especially with some of the rubber, whether it's the clover or whatever, or just dry over the winter, it just gets a little raw there. And so by putting that anti-chafing balm right there, it really helps things move a little bit more smoothly and it doesn't get quite so irritated as I'm doing that. So that has been super helpful for that as well. Some books that I personally have. So whether or not you are into reading patterns or you're still at the woobles level, some things that the kids have gotten me for gifts or I've picked up over time have been amigurumi, Jenna Tao's No Sew Mini Amigurumi, the aquatic amigurumi. Such fun colors. I love the bright. Oh, this has got stuff on it. I need to see if I can, somebody's got fingerprints, dirty fingerprints on it. So Crochet Cute Critters. I'm gonna have to wipe that down, kids. Let's see, who else do we have over here? Oof, goodness. So we've got Mama Made Mini Knotted Loveys. We've got Crochet Magical Creatures. I have Crochet a Zoo. And Crochet Donut Buddies. So definitely a lot of fun there. I've got two more over here. These are more fandom things. So Harry Potter Crochet Wizardry. This one is a very advanced book. Very advanced. Quite honestly, I am very intimidated by it. These are quite large projects using worsted weight yarn. And yes, I'll leave that there. The other one is newer, and this is the Harry Potter, the official book of Crochet Amigurumi. My daughter just made I lost the word. Puff. I lost the pygmy puff. So this is much more doable. So I will make some more things out of there as well. So those are some fun things. And then as far as businessy things, for microphone, I will link my microphone there. I've got laminator, Sharpies, our cooler. I've got a clipboard with storage in it. For other lighting, I have a neck light. So it hooks around here and then you can turn it on and position how you want, all that kind of stuff. Different intensities, different kind of brightnesses, kind of yellowish, white, that kind of stuff. I do have this little guy who then unclips and goes around your neck and holds your phone so that you can crochet and it will record. So that helps for some tutorials and videos. So I can link that as well. I have my little foldable tripod that this sits on. It is very compact and bendy and can go lots of different places with me. I also have a different little gizmo that I don't use as much as I should. He's really a whole lot of fun, but I just don't use him like I should. So a DJ Osmo, and he will hold the camera steady. He will keep things focused on what he should be focused on. So like I can have it say focused on me if I was walking around the room. If I was more confident doing this in stores, I could have it hold it steady, hold the camera steady. If I was videotaping walking around a store, I am not there. And so I don't use it like I really thought I would. I intended to. So someday we'll get there. So I don't do the lifestyle blogging as much. You know, I'm not walking down the street holding it, sort of thing. So most of it is stationary at shows. I suppose I could walk around an event and kind of videotape that way. And maybe that's something that I could work on doing, and to get a little bit more comfortable with both the controls on the device and using it to that potential. So that's that. Certainly other things for shows. I talked about the tape. You're going to want portable chargers. That's actually what's in here. I've got cords, chargers, plugs, all of that stuff in this little zipper pouch. And then tape, Sharpies, scissors. Sorry, this hair is driving me crazy. I had spent 40 years with my hair straight as a stick, and now it just does what it wants. So, folding chairs, rocking chairs, whatever you prefer. I've started using a stool more and more, just because it's easier for me to get up and down as people come into the booth. It's not so far back and you sink into those camp chairs. So I'm doing that more and more. Then I have LED string lights that run off of my portable battery packs, and those will run, we have tested them, they run the 4 hours that would typically be needed for dusk for my night shows at Christmas time. So if I've got a show from 4 to 8 at Christmas, they will run, you know, the length of time that's needed on my battery pack. So I've got those string lights linked as well. Scissors, zip ties. I think I've said some of those a couple of times. Tagging. So our tags, I buy sheets of blank tags, kind of like you would buy business cards. These are just sheets of blank tags. So then I use the template that this manufacturer did, kind of like Avery Labels. You get all the templates and that kind of stuff. And then I print these out at home on our printer, and then we just fold and perforate. These are all pre-perforated. We then just fold and remove, tear these apart. So these are our tags, and I print on both sides. So these was the most economical for my purposes. And then these are the little bitty safety pins that I use to attach them with. So those will also be in there. For my signs, I have small chalkboard signs. And so then I have these chalkboard markers. These have worked really, really well. I've got chalkboard stickers as well that I break these on. I am left-handed, so I have to be very careful not to smear myself right over them. But these have worked really, really well. They are quite vibrant, and with my yellow color, the yellow works excellent for my signage. So I've got these. I also have wet erase markers as opposed to dry erase markers. So the wet erase markers I use for a lot of my inventory. I will print out color sheets for yarns and then laminate them, and then use the wet erase markers to tally my inventory. Then the tally marks do not wipe off until they get wet. So as opposed to somebody brushing against a dry erase board and accidentally wiping off your inventory, this will stay. So I really appreciate the wet erase markers. So keep that in mind. Talked about those. Mini chalkboard clips I use on smaller baskets and things for that. This is what I use for my cash. I have used a cash box. I have used money pouches. This is so much easier for me. So this is just essentially a coupon or an index card file folder. Just an accordion file. And I marked the front of it 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s. That's it. So I've just got, business cards in the front. This first section I then put in 1s. Second section I put in 5s, 10s, 20s. I put bigger bills at the far back if I take them. And then at the very far back, I will put any extra, like I have extra ones if needed, that I do not keep at the front because it just kind of clogs things up and makes things messy. So that is how I arrange my cash drawer. It makes it super easy for anybody to find. Everything is already arranged. I don't have to dig through wads of cash to try and find the correct change. It is just right there. So that is how I keep that. I use Shopify for my payment processor because that is what my online store is, and I just use their point of sale to carry that over. It then tracks my inventory and everything else. It automatically charges the taxes that I need when I do those credit card transactions. So that is all taken care of for me. I think that, so then I use paper bags for my products for people to carry away. I was using plastic bags. I have switched over to paper bags, and I then custom ordered a stamp with my logo. And so I will link that stamp as well, who I purchased from. It's a small business that has an Amazon storefront. So you could do that as well. Then I do have my plastic ones on there. The clear ones are nice because people can see in. However, I had so many, especially at Christmas time, so many people ask for opaque bags so that the person they were shopping for couldn't see into their bag. So that is really where I started going to the paper. And so that's where I made that change. I have a number of my display items in here. Certainly you can look at any of my reels or any of my other show reviews to see my displays. But the different bamboo fruit baskets, my plant stands, my cupcake stand, I haven't been using that much. The acrylic is harder to bring places, and with doing some different arranging of my booth, I've had to be more selective of what I'm bringing and what I'm not bringing. So I haven't had as many of the coasters, the epoxy coasters lately. So we have not been utilizing the cupcake stand. But if you look at last Christmas shows on Instagram, I know you got to scroll a ways for that, but it might even be my header. Actually, I think it's my header on Facebook or on YouTube here. That if you look at the picture of that to my left as you're looking at me would be the cupcake stand. But that's there. Then I've got my stretch tablecloths. However, I think I'm going to be moving away from those. So they do look nice. They are super good. However, I have found that being on the pavement so much, it has started to wear through the feet on those. And on one of mine, I think 3 out of the 4 feet are ripping. So I'm going to be looking for alternatives there. They were cheap enough, I could replace them. I'm just not certain that that's what I want to do at this point. So that, I think, gets most everything for my everyday sort of things. So my yarn winder, I've talked about intermittently, and so there's that. I think that's the highlights. That at least gets you a good start. You'll have to let me know what you find for Prime Days. Let me know in the comments what you find for Prime Days and what you end up picking up, because I'm always looking for a good deal. And we will be heading out tomorrow, going to some more yarn stores. Again, if you are in the North Carolina area and there are some yarn stores that you think I should absolutely not miss, let me know. I'm looking at doing then the western side of Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area next week. And then I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to do Charlotte and Asheville in one trip. It seems kind of silly to drive out 3 miles to do Charlotte, or 3 hours to do Charlotte, and then turn around the following week and drive out 5 hours to do Asheville. I should just drive the 5 hours and work my way back. So that may end up being 2 nights. If I drive out after work Monday and then we just start our day Tuesday morning and work our way back, we stop and then we finish our way on Wednesday. That may be what we end up doing. So we will see. I'm curious to know if there's anybody else in North Carolina who's doing as many yarn stops. I would like to know how they're working it. So I just like to know. I want to pick somebody's brain. So, all right, I need to edit this and get this up so that I can be headed to bed so we can get out and party tomorrow at yarn stores. Good night.